As a buy and hold investor, I've seen a lot when it comes to property management and dealing with tenants. Quite often, we'll have somebody that will owe us money and just move out or abandon the property without telling us, often leaving behind things like old, beat up furniture, dirty clothes, junk, rotting food, bugs. You get the picture. What I haven't had happen before, though, was somebody lease a home from me, furnish it with like nice furniture, even things like pots and pans, cups, glasses, beds, couch, dining set, and then just vanish into thin air, literally never moving into the property. Before we dive in, if you could do me a favor and smash the like button, that helps us with YouTube's algorithm, helps get this content in front of more investors just like you. In our rental portfolio, we do all of our property management in-house, and we have kind of a schedule we stick to make sure that we stay on top of our residents. So what that looks like, rent is due on the 1st, but we have like a grace period till the 5th. Rent is late fee assessed the 6th at 12:01 a.m. We have a 3-day grace period before we then go and post the notice of eviction. So on the 10th, our staff is going to drive out to the property, tape a notice at the door that basically says you have 10 days to either get caught up on your rent and the late fees, or we're going to send you to our attorney for eviction. Now, during this time period, we have a lot of folks that'll pay, but we're also kind of flexible if they've otherwise been a really good resident with working out a payment plan, waiving a late fee, kind of being understanding. But if we haven't heard from them by the end of that 10 days, they go to our attorney for eviction. This particular property is a newer built 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's a large square house, like 3,000 square feet, in kind of a newer, nicer area, primarily homeowners. I would call it B+, maybe A- of an area. And the tenant was a little bit interesting. So they were a group home. It was a treatment facility. So basically kind of like a halfway house or a recovery home for recovering addicts. Now, I do just want to quickly point out, historically, we've had really good luck with these kinds of programs. We actually participate in several of them. It's kind of a neat way to get paid for your property, but also give back to the community. We have one we work with that's like homeless veterans and a couple others. So overall, really haven't had many bad experiences with them. So on their second month, the 5th rolled by, no rent had came in. The 6th started, the late fee was added, our staff called, emailed, texted, didn't hear anything back. So on the 8th, they went out to post the notice of eviction. Now, what a lot of landlords don't tell you, we've got folks that we have to do this with every single month to get paid. They're just kind of chronic late payers. They get that notice and they're like, okay, it's time to pay now, right? So that's not really out of the ordinary. Where things start to get strange is as my staff is leaving the home, one of the neighbors flags him down, walks over and is like, hey man, this is really kind of strange. They moved in a whole bunch of furniture and then that was it. I haven't seen anybody in like 45 days. Now this is really, really odd. Someone spent roughly $4,000 to lease and move into one of our homes. They fully furnished 3,000 square feet. And this isn't like junky particle board type of furniture. And this is like newer, nicer stuff, probably bought either new from a furniture store or some of it potentially from like a reseller. But we have living rooms, we have bedrooms, we have dining room sets. They even built an extra bar area for additional seating. If something tragic didn't happen, like if the owner of the treatment facility lost funding or maybe they couldn't get insurance stuff figured out, you think that they would ask for their money back. Hey, something happened with our business. We've never even lived in the property. Can we please get our cash back? Or you think at a minimum, they would liquidate all of the furniture they put into this thing for some cash. The first thing we need to figure out in order to get this property rented out to somebody that's, actually going to live there and pay us is what to do with all of the stuff. So we reached out to our attorney, and in Indiana, it's kind of a pain. So there's companies or services that they call like warehousemen that are approved by the court system who will go basically take all of their furniture and then store it and hold it. Obviously, it's racking up fees and things of that nature. So if the tenant does come back, they can say, yeah, you owe us X amount for us to release your property. Or as the owners of the property, we can put their stuff in storage. Now, what's kind of a pain about it is we have to hold on to things for 90 days. So that's 3 months. It's kind of a long time. The reason we're personally choosing to hold the furniture as opposed to sending it to a warehouseman is we're kind of hoping she'll come back and be like, hey, can I get my stuff? And well, yeah, absolutely. Here's the back rent you owe us. Let's square up and kind of good to go, right? Now, our attorney recommended that we itemize every single piece of furniture, artwork, silverware, dishes that's in the property. Now, the reason that you do this is so the tenant can't come back later and like, well, what about, my grandpa's vintage Rolex that happened to be, worn by Paul Newman that sold for $17 million. You get the idea. So according to state law, if they do not reach out to us within 90 days, the property then becomes ours and we are able to sell it or do whatever we want with it to try to recover any losses that we have. At that point, it's been abandoned, we've got it, it's ours. Kind of an interesting holdup though in this process is where do you notice someone who's vanished? So phone number we have is not working. Emails are not getting replied to. We even mailed the owner of the business's personal address we had on file for them, and it bounced back as moved with no forwarding address. So according to our attorney, we're gonna notice the addresses we have, which is the one that, well, we already know they didn't leave a forwarding address at, and ours, which, well, they've abandoned. Now, one kind of nice part of this whole process is in Indiana, there's a process for reclaiming a property that's been abandoned when you're the landlord. So it's simply you post a notice, you wait the required amount of days, which is 2 or 3. You can then drill locks, enter the property, change the locks, and secure it. So you don't actually have to go through like the eviction process if nobody's living there. Obviously, consult your attorney on this in your state or even if you're in mine. Ours was comfortable with it because the statute reads if it looks like it's been abandoned, and the kind of couple clarifying things they have there is if there's no clothes, so there's never any clothes. 2, if there's no beds, which there's no mattresses, then the property has technically been abandoned. But the pain with that part is we do still have to store the stuff for 90 days. All in all, I would way rather have someone rent one of my properties, fill it with really nice furniture, and then skip out on rent than throw a frat party, cause all kinds of damage, leave all of their trash behind, and still skip out on rent. In the next video, we're gonna try to actually track this person down. So we're gonna look into, was there a death certificate issued? Criminal, court proceedings, did they maybe get locked up? Is the LLC still open? As well as just kind of some other social media digging and stuff. So I think it'll be interesting to see if we're able to find this person and get their stuff back to them. Let me know in the comments what you think happened. Did they run out of cash? Could they not find folks needing a recovery home? Could they maybe not get insurance situated or figured out, or potentially something more tragic?